All right, I'm gonna go over how to set up multipaper servers. Multipaper is just a system that allows multiple instances of servers to all communicate with each other, right? So it looks like you have a giant seamless server, but in reality, it's just a bunch of smaller ones communicating with each other. So we see this player over here. We type /servers. We can see I'm on server 1 here, and they're on server 2. But they can interact seamlessly with each other, so it all looks like one cohesive experience. So we'll need a few things to set this up. First, we'll need a proxy, and then a load balancer. We'll also need the multipaper server itself, and then the multipaper master. So let's go ahead and get into that. I'll have all the downloads linked in the description, but first we need to download the proxy. Then we'll download the load balancer for that proxy. And then we need to download the multipaper server and then the master. Now that you have everything downloaded, you should bring all your downloads into a directory. In this case, it's called tutorial, but you can name it whatever. So we'll create a little file structure here first. This will be where we put all our batch folders, or the shortcuts to the batch folders. So that's just kind of a centralized location where you can run all your servers. Then we'll create the proxy folder and the master folder. We'll create the first server. And then we can create the second server. And now we should go ahead and rename all our jars here. This is just to help the batch folders and, so just remove all the versioning from the names here. Now with that, we can go ahead and place these jar folders into their respective folders. So let's take the velocity and put it in the proxy. The master goes here, and multipaper in server 1. So now that we're in here, we're going to want to create a batch folder. So you can create a text folder first, and then just rename it like start.bat. The name doesn't matter, but it's what matters that goes in here. So I'll leave all the copy and paste in the description. For this one, we'll paste this. Go ahead and save that. You can close it out. And then you just run the server here. And we'll see that it started. And now that we have created our plugins folder, we can go ahead and exit out. Let's go ahead and move this into our plugins folder. With that done, we'll create a shortcut for our batch folder here. So go ahead and just create one. Rename it to 0.proxy, and then just drag it back up to the top there. And let's put it into the startups. So let's go back to our proxy folder first. Let's copy our start.bat, and let's paste it into the master folder here. So let's go ahead and edit this, and then we'll rename this to multipaper.master. So this is just routing to this jar folder here. And then let's go ahead and run that. And we'll see it starts up just fine here. So let's just minimize that because we'll need it to start this. So again, just paste your start.bat in there, edit it, rename this to multipaper. Save that, or actually, since this will be an actual server, you can go ahead and increase the RAM here depending on how much you want to locate. In this case, we'll just do 2 gigs. And we can go ahead and save that, close it, and then we'll start this. And we'll see our multipaper servers go ahead and start up here. And here we go, connected. We'll see that. And we'll see it create the EULA. We're going to want to go ahead and open this up and set this to true. So save that, close it out. So just bring up the terminal again. You'll see that it says you need to agree here. We just did that, so we just got to restart the server. So close it out, run the start.bat again, and we'll see that it should fully start up this time. See, it's connecting, connected to localhost. So this is saying it connected to the multipaper master there. And we'll see we get this. If you don't want this little GUI here, I'd recommend going back into the start.bat. So let's go here. You can edit. Then just put -no GUI at the end. Save it, close it. Next time you start it up, you will not get that little GUI there. See that? Just close out the server again, run the start.bat. And then we'll see. We don't get that pop-up anymore. While it's booting up, we can go ahead and create a shortcut for our server here. This will be 2 and then server -01. Drag that out tutorial. Let's go ahead and make our master one as well because we forgot. Create shortcut. Rename this to 1.master. Then drag that out. And we'll put both of these into our startup here. And we see we have this nice place to just start up all our servers. This is completely unnecessary, but it just makes it easier to work with in the future. So we can see that we have all our server folders here. Let's go ahead and set up the proxy load balancing. So what do we got to do first? We want to go back to our proxy. From there, you want to open up your velocity.toml. Full screen this. So scroll down till you see player info forwarding mode. You want to set this to modern. Scroll down till you see this server section here. So let's go ahead and delete some of this preset stuff. This lobby, set it to server-01. And then let's change the port here, 25565. Or no, 25566, sorry. Since our proxy is on 25565, and then our first server will be on the next port, which is 25566. And then for the second server, we'll do it 25567. Change this. Now this is important. So this try here, we want to actually go in reverse order. So you want to try server 2, and then do server 1. -1 or 01. So that's how they ordered that. Then you want to delete this, and then replace this, that. And that's all you have to do for your velocity.toml. So you go ahead and close that out. From there, let's copy our forwarding secret. Don't share this with people. Keep it private. So copy that. Let's go over to our server 1 now. Open the config folder. And open paper.global.yml. Scroll down till you see your velocity section down here. Go ahead and paste in your secret. Set these to true. So enable to true and online mode to true. Go ahead and close this out now. Let's go back. Go to your server.properties. And you're going to want to go down to server port. Make sure this is on 25566, since this is what we set it to in the velocity.toml. And then scroll up till you see online mode. This is true by default, but it should be false, so make sure you set it to false, because now the proxy is handling online clients. So we can go ahead and close this out. Then you want to go to your multipaper.yml. So once you open this, you'll see we have a few things here. This isn't entirely necessary, but just for consistency's sake, rename it to server-01. And that is all we got to do here. Close this out. And now we're going to basically copy a lot of this over to the second server. So we're going to be copying our start.bat, multipaper, server.properties, the config here, multipaper.jar, the EULA, and that's all we got to do. Let's copy all that. Go over to our server.2 or -2, paste it. Then we'll create our shortcut. This will be 3.server-02. And we'll move it up to tutorial and startup. Let's go back to server.2 and then go back to your server.properties, since we want to bind this one to the next port, so 25567, which is also what we set in the velocity settings. And we can go ahead and close this out. Make sure it's also false for online mode. So close it out. And you want to open up your paper.yml. Then set this to -02. Save that, close it out, and then you're pretty much all set now. So From here, make sure you have all your servers already shut down. I may have not said it before, but shut down all your servers first. Then you want to go up here. You want to start your proxy. See that starts up. Start the master. See that starts up. It's listening. I'm going to start server.1. See that start up. Make sure it starts up and there's no like port conflicts or anything. Sometimes you may have an invalid Java version, so you may need to download the correct Java version or delete an old one. So we see this start up just fine. And we'll start the last server here. And let's see. Starting up. It found the master server, so it's connected to that. Here we go. And there we go. It's started. Now, before we get into Minecraft, I recommend opping yourself. So just op and then your username. So in my case, the one theory. And now I'm operating on server. And now let's go over to the Minecraft side. Alright, now in Minecraft, in multiplayer, go to add server. Since it's on my local machine, I can do localhost. So it'll be your IP and then the address, or the port. The port is what you set the proxy to. In our case, we set it to 25565. Go ahead and add it, and we can go ahead and try to connect on this one. See, we load the train. Do the same for the other client. We can do localhost 25565. And go ahead and join. And we see that we're both in. If I run /servers, we can see that I'm on server 2 here and on server 1. Both servers are running perfectly, and we can still interact with each other. So yeah, that is all for setting up multipaper locally. Now you may run into some other issues, like I said before. Java version is important, so if you have the wrong Java version, the server will probably just not run. Another thing is, if you're trying to have someone else connect on a different network, you will have to port forward. There are so many tutorials for port forwarding. Just go look one of those up. Those are the biggest problems I could see you running into. But other than that, yeah, thank you for watching. That is it for this tutorial.